Hello and welcome everyone in another episode of Researcher Celebrity. Today we have honor to have Professor Padma Shri Professor Aditya Prasad Das with us as our researcher celebrity. A brief introduction of Sir. Professor Dash is a distinguished biologist whose groundbreaking work has significantly advanced our understanding of malaria and vector-borne diseases. His he has dedicated his career to biomedical science and transmission biology of tropical disease and the modern biology of disease vectors. Professor Dash currently serves as member CSIR Society, mentor for Indian Institute of Chemical Biology, Kolkata, and president of National Academy of Vector-Borne Diseases. His previous roles include Vice Chancellor of Central University of Tamil Nadu, Asian Institute of Public Health in Bhubaneswar, and many others. He also have led several prestigious research institutes during his tenure, which includes National Institute of Malaria Research and Institute of Life Sciences also. Just to say about his scientific contributions, which are vast and impactful, he has authored over 320 publications and co-authored over almost 700 publications and demonstrated his commitment to advancing scientific knowledge. His groundbreaking work has influenced not only Indian but global health policies, particularly in the area of malaria control and vector management. Additionally, he has developed an animal model for chemotherapeutic and immunological studies of parasitic disease and a technique for detecting dengue virus antigen in desiccated mosquitoes. With this brief introduction, I know it was one of the not traditional one in our history of researcher celebrity because introducing Sir is a challenge for me, but I think I did a decent job. With this, we'll say thank you so much, Sir, for taking time out for this conversation and becoming our researcher celebrity. So, sir, we always
Thank
start
you.
our
Thank you.
conversation that how and when you decided that you want to become a researcher.
Well, this is a very interesting question. If you, as you know, from my research career, I have a checkered career. I come from a remote village of India in Odisha, in Dhenkanal district, and studied in usual school, local school in Odisha, in a local village. And then I went to high schools and all this. I didn't study in English medium like you people do. But what happened when my primary school was in 50s, 1950s. That was the time when India was highly endemic for malaria. And when I was studying in my school, I saw our house was, in the corner of the outside wall of the house. There is a square. It was written NMEP, National Malaria Eradication Program. Then the right, this date it was spread. It was fascinating me. What is this right is writing? They say government people you come and they write. I did not understand it at that time. And then I saw some people, now I understand they were insect collectors of government and they were coming and collecting mosquitoes in our house. And I saw mosquitoes, the test tube which fascinated me in my childhood when I was a student of primary school. Then life went on. I did my graduation in geology honors in a prestigious college of Bhubaneswar, Odisha. Then I did my master's degree from the Utkal University and PhD there, and also DS in parasitology from the Utkal University. In the meantime, it was very interesting when I did my PhD. I submitted my PhD thesis. Obviously, at that time we did not have any guide like your people are having nowadays. We didn't have anybody to guide us. So we applied for various vacancies. The first thing was to get a job. At that time, you imagine, it was I did my MSc in 1973 and submitted my thesis in 1977 or 78. So I applied for an opening in Vishwabharati University. At that time, there was no post of assistant professor, it was lecturer position. And then I applied for this ICMR NIMP research project under NICT, Delhi. So at that time, the salary of a lecturer or now assistant professor was 400 rupees basic pay. And here, which a post where I had applied for the post of senior research officer, the salary was 1100. So our consideration at that time was not the position or not what we are going to do. It the consideration at that time was how much you are going to get. So obviously decided to join this ICMR National Malaria Eradication Project in the Odisha Bihar border complex in 1978 August, and I continued my work on field biology, that is the transmission biology of malaria under field conditions. I remember the difficult time at that time. Malaria came back in 1970s. India controlled malaria in 1960s or to almost zero death. And it came back in 1970s with several problems like drug resistance in the parasite, vector resistance, insecticide resistance in the insect vectors. It came back reaching its peak in 1976 with several million cases and large number of deaths. So that was the time when India started this project. When malaria came back in India, it remained in certain pockets, like in ODI, Orissa, Bihar border complex was one pocket. From these pockets, malaria came back with several problems. And then when I studied there, I remember to catch Anopheles proviatilis, we had to go to the interior foothill villages and wait there throughout the night when the Anopheles pulvetrilis was going to land on a human being and will catch it. So that was the way hard work we used to do. And that was a very interesting project. That is why, in spite of the insecticidal spray and drug administration, why malaria persisted in those pockets, including one in Odisha Bihar border complex. After the successful completion of the project, the Indian Council of Medical Research, under the leadership of late Dr. V. Ramalingam Swami, they opened 6 new regional medical research centers in different regions of Odisha and different regions of India, and one was in Odisha. So that time, I was taken as again senior research officer at the Regional Medical Research Center in Bhubaneswar, where I headed the Department of entomology and parasitology and built the department from the scratch. While working there, I became a bench level scientist, working on micromanipulators, infecting mosquitoes, studying various things. While working there is an Institute of Life Sciences in Bhubaneswar. And the Institute of Life Sciences, they required a director to head the institute. So I think I was nominated there and I got selected. It was 1978. I remember it was, I think, no, sorry, not 78. I joined 19. Oh, it was 98. 98 I joined. Till 97 I was the Regional Medical Research Center as a senior scientist. Then I joined India Institute of Life Sciences on 2nd March 1998. Then I led that institute. Institute of Life Sciences was started by the government to work on various aspects of modern biological aspects of various diseases and also plants. So I had a very successful career there. If I'll go and speak on, I'll speak on this your Institute of Life Sciences. It will take 3-4 hours. So after completing that work, because I was in ICMR, I went on deputation to the Institute for Life Sciences. Institute for Life Sciences was under Department of Biotechnology. Then obviously I wanted to come back to ICMR. My deputation period was over. But Department of Biotechnology at that time, the Honorable Minister and the Secretary who were there, they did not want to leave me. But my problem was the DBT institutes are not pensionable, but the ICMR institutes are pensionable. And I wanted to have my pension after my retirement. So therefore, I insisted that I should go back. I came back and I joined as the director of the National Institute for Research on Tribal Health in Jabalpur. When I took over the Jabalpur, that RMRC, NIRTS, National Institute for Research and Tribal Health, Jabalpur, if you remember, few years back, in late 1990s, there was a devastating, or early 2001 or something like that, or two, one or two, this devastating earthquake, and the institute building suffered a lot in that time. And the institute building, newly constructed building, was not occupied. The institute was functioning in private quarters. So I have my first job was to take over the building after repair by the PW or whatever. Then we shifted to the building, and that was the National Institute for Research for Tribal Health in Jabalpur. It was located because the tribal health concentration in Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, that was at the when the institute was established, it was undivided Madhya Pradesh. Now it is Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh. So Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, part of Maharashtra, that central part was concentrated with the tribal population. And parts of Chhattisgarh are heavily infested by the, what they call it, uh, Naxalites. Okay. So I was the first person to establish the work elements in the Naxal, deep into the Naxal affected areas in Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh. We started. And we had a role in elimination of years. India was declared free from years in 2016. And years was endemic in Chhattisgarh, in that area, under the area of National Institute of Tribal Health. National Institute of Tribal Health, Jabalpur played an important role in elimination and finally eradication of years from this country. While working there, then the National Institute of Malaria Research needed a director. I had shifted to National Institute of Malaria Research in April 2004. And there, as you know, National Institute of Malaria Research had 13 field stations all over India. And there are some field stations, some areas where malaria was not there. But then again, in states like Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh, which are highly endemic for malaria, there are no field stations. So I have to close 5 field stations, non-functional field stations, and create two, one in Chhattisgarh and one in Jharkhand. Then relocate staff there, and the work started quickly. And NMR did not have its own building at that time. We constructed the building, we shifted there. Now NMR is functioning in the full swing. If you remember correctly, National Institute of Malaria Research, probably the only institute now in the world working completely devoted to malaria research. And then there we have initiated collaboration with the scientists like Jane Carlton. And from while working in National Institute of Malaria Research, the World Health Organization wanted an advisor and scientist for the Southeast Asia region. So I joined there. I resigned. I took very voluntary retirement from Indian Council of Medical Research or Government of India. Then I joined the World Health Organization as a regional advisor for Southeast Asia region on vector-borne and neglected tropical diseases, where I spearheaded programs like dengue control, chikungunya control, elimination of lymphatic filariasis, elimination of Kala-Azar, that is visceral leishmaniasis, control of soil transmitted helminthiasis, elimination of trachoma, eradication of yaws. These are the diseases I had to take charge of these things. And I'm very happy and proudly say that with our efforts, Sri Lanka eliminated lymphatic filariasis, also recently malaria. Maldives eliminated lymphatic filariasis, also eliminated malaria earlier. Thailand eliminated lymphatic filariasis. And now, when I was the chairman of the Regional Program Review Group or the Regional Technical Advisory Committee for lymphatic filariasis, Timor-Leste eliminated lymphatic filariasis, and also Bangladesh. So these are the success stories which we did. I was also looking after tropical disease research, and I was also looking after impact of climate change on vector-borne diseases and infectious diseases. Now, to initiate the work on impact of climate change on vector-borne and infectious diseases, it was a very interesting task. For that, we wanted to generate data, whatever data was available. So what we did, We organized an informal expert consultation in the Southeast Asia region, inviting experts from different places, and developed three generic protocols. One on retrospective study, other one was the prospective study, and another one to the mitigation methods. If there is something, how to mitigate. I will give an example here about malaria. When I was the director of the Indian National Institute of Malaria Research, one day we were discussing the climatic conditions. Dr. Dhiman is there. If you remember, he was working on environmental biology of malaria. I called him, we discussed, and we found out that in Uttarakhand, in certain areas which were free from malaria, when malaria was deadly endemic in India, before, at the time of independence, and millions of people were dying, that was free from malaria because of the very cold climate. Temperature was very low and parasite could not grow in the mosquitoes. So we saw a change in 4.6 degrees of temperature over the years. It has gone up. We thought let us go and study there. When we studied, the paper was published, we studied, we found lots of Anopheles fluviatilis and four malaria cases, locally transmitted malaria cases, two falciparum and two falciparum. This is the impact of climate change. Another impact of climate change, if you see, in Southeast Asia region, out of 11 countries, though Southeast Asia region of WHO has 11 countries, it has 39% of global population. So, dengue was endemic everywhere except DPR Korea, but it was not found, not reported in Bhutan and Nepal till 2006 because of the low temperature. When temperature has gone up to a particular level, both Bhutan and Nepal started reporting dengue in 2004 and 2006 respectively, and now both the countries are endemic for dengue. So this is the impact of climate change, the serious impact of climate change, which is a new challenge which the human race is going to face in future on various aspects, not only on diseases, but agriculture, nutrition, everywhere. But this is the serious impact on the public health. So we have developed protocols and also initiated some studies there. And then, as you know, one has to retire sometime from in WHO. I retired at that time. The retirement was 62, now it is 65. And the scientists, those who joined before 2014, had to retire at 62. I retired, but I got some extension. Finally, I retired in 2015 from WHO. In WHO, we developed several strategies for elimination of visceral leishmaniasis, for elimination of lymphatic filariasis, for eradication of years, for elimination of malaria, and several other. And a very impressive and important document on prevention and control of dengue and dengue hemorrhagic fever, which is now followed not only in Southeast Asia region, but many countries in the world. It is translated to many local languages like Chinese, etc., to follow that document. So I retired from WHO in 2015, and then at that time, I I was I was coming back home, and I heard that while coming, I was staying in Haley Road, and when I was coming to the airport, NAMR comes in between in Dwarka. I thought I had of time. I had a lot of time. I thought I'll go to NAMR and have a cup of tea there. So I came there, and Dr. Nina was the director. I had a cup of tea with her. She told me that, look, sir, there is a requirement of distinguished scientist chairs, so you can apply for there. And that was the last date. Then someone has to nominate, and did not have time to go to somebody to nominate me. I self-nominated and get my papers there. I said, you send it today. It is last date. I am going to the airport. So this way, I self-nominated myself. Then I got selected as the Distinguished Scientist Chair. And there I joined the Institute of Life Sciences, Bhubaneswar, as a Distinguished Scientist Chair. And while joining, what has happened? Someone has nominated me for the Vice Chancellor. Why I joined there? And Institute of Life Sciences, all the research institutes in India have a scientific advisory committee. Similarly, Institute for Life Sciences under Department of Biotechnology, Government of India, they also have their scientific advisory committee. So in the scientific advisory committee, Professor Padmanabhan, Director Indian Institute of Science, was the director. So he came and we met there. Then I think Professor Ganguly nominated me for the for a vice chancellor position in a central university. This much I knew. I gave my biodata to him, but I did not know for which university nominated. So while working as a distinguished scientist chair, suddenly I got a letter from the Minister of MHRD at that time, Minister of Human Resource Development. Now it is renamed as Minister of Education. That you have been nominated for the post of Vice Chancellor of Central University of Tamil Nadu, and you have been shortlisted and invited for personal interaction on such and such date in Delhi. So then I came to know there is a Central University of Tamil Nadu, because my idea when I took VRS from ICMR, Central University means I thought it's BHU, JNU, Delhi University, Vishwabharati, Nehu, like that. I did not know that there is a Central University of Tamil Nadu. And at that time, the director of the Institute for Life Sciences, whereas working as a distinguished scientist chair, Dr. Rabindran was the director, who happens to be from Tamil Nadu. I went to him. I said, "You look, there is a Central Institute of Tamil Nadu." He said, "Yes, you don't know." I said, "No." He said, "No, in 2009, the government wanted to expand higher education. So they created some 10 or 12 central universities in the states where it was not there. So Tamil Nadu is one." Then I was in two minds, I'll go or I'll not go. Then I thought, let me take a try how it looks like, because I come from a research background. I was never a professor or something in any university. They invited 15 candidates for personal interaction, and I was the last one. So, no, I was the last but one. Okay. So they gave me the time 3:30. I reached there at 3:15. So somebody came to take my signature. There I saw I have serial number 14 and there's another candidate above me. They called me for the interview. It a personal interaction. And they asked me to make a presentation. I was ready. I made a presentation, small presentation. I came back. I thought, because everybody, all other candidates who were called for this personal interaction were already vice chancellor in state university or vice chancellor in 2 or 3 state universities. So then I thought I had no chance. I came back, I started working. We had also a collaboration with Dr. Adrian Michael from USA to study the mosquito gut microbiome in Institute of Life Sciences as a distinguished scientist chair. I was able to take some students also. So one day in July 2015, I was on my way to the Institute for Life Sciences. I got a call from some unknown person from whom I don't know. I got a call from the acting vice chancellor of the Central Institute of Tamil Nadu. I did not know them. First he called me, "Sir, am I speaking to Dr. Das?" I said, "Yes." "Sir, when are you joining?" I said, "Who are you and what are you talking?" He said, "Sir, I am Dr. Such and Such. I am the acting VC. You have been appointed as the..." I said, "I am the vice chancellor of our university." So I said, "I have no idea. I didn't get any letter." Then probably he talked to the ministry or something. I got the letter from them and all these things. Then I told, now I cannot go. I may go after 3 4 months. After winding up everything what I have started in Institute of Life Sciences. But after that, probably there is something they wanted some regular vice chancellor immediately. So I got call from the ministry. Everybody said, "You please go and join immediately. Then you can come back and settle your things whenever you want." Then I call back these people, the person who called me. I said, "Send me the ticket." So they sent me the ticket. I know I reached the midnight in Tiruchinapalli. From there, I went by road. I reached the university. I took charge in, I think, 6th August 2015. And that was new university. And then a lot of challenges I had to face. And however, the institute has, I mean, there's a completed 10 years, institute completed 10 years in 2019. We had a document, 1 decade of ILS, that will tell how we let me switch on the yeah. So that document will speak the tremendous growth we had when I was working as a vice chancellor in the Central University of Tamil Nadu. Now, once I retired from Central University of Tamil Nadu, I came back to Odisha. That was COVID time. It was in August 2020. India lockdown was there. Under those circumstances, the government wanted to give me a extension till the new VC joined. So, but I took a stand because of COVID lockdown, which started in April 2020. I could not come home because my family did not join me in Tamil Nadu. I was alone there. So I could not, I did not have any contact with my family. I could not come. So I thought, no, I will not take any extension. And it is also not good to take any extension because people knew that I was going to retire on 5th August 2020. So those who are in the line, the senior professor, they are also probably they must be thinking that we should get a chance to be acting vice chancellor. So I did not want to stop their claim. So everybody has an ambition, and they have a right to have their ambition also. So I decided to leave and handed over charge to the next person. I came back. I came back here. Then there is a private university, Asian Institute of Public Health University. This was promoted by a professor from USA, and he contacted me. He said, "Sir, can you join here because it's a public health university, and my work relates to public health very strongly, and I feel very strongly about public health. The public health system in India is very weak. Nobody thought of public health in India till Bill Gates came, I think in 1990s, late 1990s, and said that India needs a public health. So public health foundation was formed in the early of this century, this 21st and Srinath Reddy probably made the places. So public health system was very weak. Not is it was very weak. I thought if I join this university, probably I will be able to contribute in some way. But then again, I had a conflict in my mind. Throughout my life working with the government of India, suddenly coming to a private university, how will I function? Whether I will be able to cope up with their system. But then I had two conditions. One condition is that I was already a member of several committees in India and abroad. And I told that whenever I go for any meeting, I will not take anybody's permission. They said yes. Then I said, none of your financial files will come to me because handling finance in government of India has certain rules. I will follow the rules and I will do that. Private university don't know. I said, no, none of the financial files will come to me for anything. They said, yes, done. It will not come. So then again I said, I will not join until I see your university. So they took me, they showed me everything, they made a presentation. Again, I was hesitant, but some people told me that maybe I'll be able to contribute something. There are some other private universities which are also running after me, looking at the success of the Central Institute of Tamil Nadu to become a vice chancellor there, paying huge amount. But finally, I decided no, I'll take very little money. Money was not a concern. But if I will join, let me join the Asian Institute of Public Health University so that probably I will be able to contribute something to public health because that was the COVID time also. So I decided to join there, and they wanted me to sign a 3-year contract. I signed, I joined, but it was very disappointing for me. That was probably a very wrong decision I had taken in my life, and I should not have joined a private university where they have their own interest. They don't have any interest for the academics, and I did not want to support people. Those
It's like there is a network issue
the
in here, what we are facing for now. But in the meantime, if I can say this to all the audience, that as you can see, that sir is so compassionate about the peers. He already had the vision from starting. where he wanted to give it back to the society, help the community. Like this.
Sorry, sorry.
Sir, I was just mentioning that we had some internet issues, I think, and I was telling the audiences
Okay,
that how all of your mission, all of your career was driven towards the society, helping the community
okay.
generate and training the next generation of entomologists and public health workers.
Yes,
So I have a question,
yes,
sir, here. If you can say that
yes.
how do you decide or define for
Hmm,
you and for the next generation of researchers how a
hmm.
researcher is successful? How and when?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
I was saying that what are your
Hmm.
definition of a successful researcher?
A successful researcher, yeah, this is a very good question. I have a good presentation on mentoring research.
Mhm.
Okay, and see, when we say that research, whatever research you do, you should do with all sincerity, following following the appropriate ethics. You should ask the right research question, follow the right methodology, do it very in a meticulous way, and finally see that your research will some way, sometime will help the society, or will be used for societal benefit. I'm forgetting the name. The great scientist who discovered rabies vaccine and everything. I'm forgetting his name. And he once said that whatever research you do in the laboratory, whatever you do, your cup of tea or your happiness lies when your research is used for the societal development. Similarly, you select a problem and work following the correct methodology and follow selection of the problem is very important nowadays. The research means people follow that better how they do it, but nothing can substitute hard work in your research. Hard work and honesty. Without hard work and honesty, it is very difficult for someone to get success in research. And in your research will be useful when you see that your findings are translated to three P's: the practices, policies, and products. Once you do that, then your research will be successful. You can be a successful researcher. And always those who are working doing science, they should always remember that no, when we are working long back, we say our research, other our colleagues should not see it. We should not know. You see that your research is known to others as soon as and as quick as possible. Always respect your critics. Always respect your critics, but those critics will be will be very helpful for you. And always the researcher should remember that there is something called as time, and time is very limited. Respect for time. And if there is any problem, don't worry, leave it to time. Time is the best deciding factor which never betrays. Have faith in time.
So, sir, like we have seen, like all
Hmm.
the audience have listen this, like you have time, date, and year so much in specific. And now, with at least I can speak for myself, with our generation, it's like, oh, I do not remember what I did on that day. I have to go on to the journals, check my diary, and you have all those dates so sharp. So I would like to say this to audience that this can only come to you when you are so passionate in your, and you have this faith that whatever you are doing, your commitment is on above everything. So one question about setting up those infrastructures, and this is probably for all the researchers who are in their later career stages, like senior researchers, or going to take positions like director, vice chancellor in a country, or like in university or research institutes. What are the visions they should have, which they can learn from you? Like you have built institutes from scratch, and that too early in your career, as you mentioned about starting from senior researcher to taking up the chance of taking the director's position, then vice chancellor, then Indian government, then public partnership. You have done all of that. Somewhere you made this these places starting from scratch. Not only the building, but also from the scientist and the core committee from there. So what you can guide the other researchers to follow.
Yes, 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 that's you are right. See, five research institutes I have built from the scratch, then two universities also. And everywhere, again, the common denominator were hard work.
Mhm,
Another denominator, another important thing, you should have a good vision for that.
mhm,
To support your vision, you should have appropriate missions.
mhm,
To support your missions, you should have strategies.
mhm,
See, vision is one, and those that vision is guided by three or four missions, and each mission should have strategies to support the mission so that you achieve the follow the strategy, achieve the mission, and ultimately achieve the vision. So this is very important. And respect for time. If you do not complete something in time, there is a particular thing this that you have to complete it in time. If you delay it, that thing will not have that charm which you would have completed in time. So that is very important. Timing is very important. And then honesty. I never took a cup of tea from anybody. I never gave a cup of tea to anybody. So that is this is my this is my anybody who know me, they will tell how they will vouch for not only say they will vouch for it. And I whenever I had gone, I'll give you a very good example here. You can ask anybody in NMR, any five research institutes I had, two universities I had. Whenever I became the first director at the age of 45, and whenever I go to a new institute, I call a meeting of the scientists together. First day, I take a meeting. I give them my mind. I say one thing. Look, you have to do very hard work, and you will ask me to do your research. You ask me for unlimited money, which I cannot give you. But one thing I can give you, which is plentifully available with me, that is complete freedom. So I give you the director's power. You work, but at the end of the year, I'm going to ask you what have you done. That is most important. Then second thing, financially, you have to be very honest. If there is some financial problem you face and audit will catch you, I am not going to help you. That's clear. But I can give you complete freedom. I gave complete freedom to everybody. For example, in Indian system, for any meeting, directors go and attend any meeting, represent the institute. I said no. If somebody is working on climate change, let him go and represent. I should not go there. Like that, giving autonomy to scientists to work, giving them freedom, and giving them little encouragement. For example, when I went to the Central University of Tamil Nadu as the Vice Chancellor, I saw only few extramural projects were there. So what I decided, I called a meeting. I said, everyone should have at least one extramural project with them. And what I can give you, you get 15 to 20% overhead charges, which comes to the university. No, it will not come to the university. That overhead charges will be with you in your laboratory to use for your research till you get the project. So that worked. Even the audit objected that how can this is for the university, how can I give it to them? I said I'm not giving to them to use it for their own expenditure. This is an incentive I have given, and the auditor was satisfied. Once you tell them, no, the good intention, that worked. So similarly, encouragement is necessary. While I was working in Central Tamil Nadu, one assistant professor published a paper in Nature. So what I did in the convocation, I honored him. So that this is the incentive which the others will get, the importance you give them. So this is how it was a success for For example, when I was the director in IMR, I started a method. Anybody who has completed 25 years of service will be honored in annual day. So that is still continuing. So these are the things, incentives has to be there. And I completely understood. when I had gone to a new institute, of course, I can give you the system in India. When you go to head a new institute, you will find 40% of the staff will work. They do not want any incentive. They cannot stay without work, like people like you or other. They will work. They will go on working. They don't need any incentive. So you have to forget about them. Another 40% of the another 30% of the staff will never work. 20 to 30 will never work. Whatever you give, they will never work. So, so another this 40, 20, 60, another 40%, they need some incentive to work. Concentrate on them to get the best out of them. This is the method which I have followed everywhere where I have got, and that is the main success. But I had tremendous faith on time. What I am, time has brought me here, and I have written my autobiography, which I have submitted to USA, one publisher in USA. That will come. They will take another 4 5 months to come. The a dash of hope. The title is a dash of hope. DSS, a dash of hope, and that I will send you the cover page which the designer has sent it to your WhatsApp number I have now. I will send it, so you can read that. You will see how things how I have come, the hard way I have come. I remember if for the youngsters, I want to tell them, if there any youngster is attending this, hearing this. When I was doing my PhD in 70s, as I told you, that at that time there is no one to guide us. Do you have time, or am I talking too
No, no,
much?
no. We have full time, sir. Yeah.
Oh. So when I was doing my PhD, there was no one to guide us. So we had to get a job first. So that time, in the zoology department with the Utkal University, where I was doing PhD, under the professor and head, a post of research assistant was advertised. So the professor and head was to select along with the vice chancellor. So I was very close to professor. Everybody knew in the university, and professor also supposed to like me very much as per the perception by all stakeholders. I applied. Another candidate is much junior to me also applied. So I was sure to get it. The interview was took place. I attended the interview, did very well in the interview. I came back. Everybody congratulated me. I thought, yes, I'll get it. You will not know the result came. The junior post person was appointed. I felt very bad, as if I thought probably the world did not exist for me at that time. So I went home. I went home. My father was a very progressive minded person. My uncle was a Sanskrit Pandit. My father was a very progressive person. My father said one thing: why you are worried? You have gone to do your PhD. First do that. Why this has not happened? Maybe God has kept something else for you. With that hope, I came back, completed my work. But the person who joined in that research assistant position, you will not believe, he retired as a research assistant. Okay, so this is probably the probably time which has guided me that to come like this to this position.
No, this was like a great story for all the researchers who are seeing those failures, criticism, and everything. I think, sir, you have said this to the perfection that if you have not been selected for one position, probably you were not meant for that, and God might
Yeah,
have higher plans for you. I have another question
yeah,
for you, sir, that
yeah,
one thing which is, as you already mentioned about this, that how people, are, especially in the field of research, are not get their due acknowledgement. That is one of the biggest
yes,
issue all around, and this is
yes,
global. And one of the
yes,
uh, as you mentioned, vision, mission, and strategy for
huh,
empowering science foundation and having these researcher celebrity conversation is to give this
huh,
acknowledgement to researchers of all the ages, because when it comes to researchers of your repertoire, you are not only guiding the senior researchers, but as you mentioned, even the PhD students have so much to learn from your wisdom so that they can actually take the path which is one thing making them for sure successful researchers, as we talked about that how we say that. And then second is they feel acknowledged about it. They feel self proud about it, that what they are doing, they are taking this mission, they are helping the community. So, in your words, what are the things which needs to be changed globally to celebrate the achievements of researcher?
Well, this is a problem not only in India; it's a global problem, as you have rightly mentioned. I have there are numerous examples about this, and how the research celebrities were not recognized properly. See, for me, I have written in my book, looking back. I had written there that I was an Indian, ordinary Indian, working very honestly in my area of neglected tropical diseases, and particularly neglected tropical diseases targeted for elimination to achieve the sustainable development goals. And I'm still working on the achieving the sustainable development goals, how India will be pushed forward to achieve the sustainable development goals and will be among the more 10 top countries by 2030 in achieving the sustainable development goals. But achieving the sustainable development goals needs elimination of neglected tropical diseases. And this is what we have to do, that whatever hard work you do will be recognized until, see, I'll give you in my, I cannot make a presentation here. I have a very good slide. If I show this slide, it you see what a scientist thinks, say it is 100%. Then what he puts in writing, it becomes 70%. What he publishes becomes 50%. What comes to public
Mhm.
becomes 40%. What actually public understand becomes 10%. So the gap between the perception of scientists and understanding by general public is 90%. How to reduce this gap is a very big question. Secondly, if you publish in good journals, and if your work is translated into products and policies, then I think the any scientist can be recognized. Anything you develop that will be used, for example, the dengue strategy, that way it's not a scientific finding, but the strategy for control and prevention of dengue and dengue hemorrhagic fever is now a hot cake. Everybody is using that till now. So similarly, good publications good publications which will be utilized, which will be utilized for public good, is very necessary, will definitely bring recognition to you. And always remember, honesty of labor always pays, and single-minded devotion brings in fabulous dividends.
Nice, sir. Well, absolutely well said, sir. And I think the point for all of us, and it's very important when you mention about how uh, scientists perceives an idea and what a common man gets in their hand. This gap we have to
Yes,
reduce. One
you
of the
have to
similar
reduce.
gaps, absolutely, sir. One of the gaps which now at least we are talking, and again, not only in India but globally, the role of women in STEM. Your
That
thoughts
is very
and
important.
guidance.
That is very important. See how I who taught me first? Who taught me initially? My mother taught me.
Mhm.
At home, before going to primary school, who taught me? My mother taught me. So empowering women empowerment is very important. This is what I was doing for the 5 years tenure as Vice Chancellor in Central University. The Central University Tamil Nadu is located in a very rural area of Tamil Nadu, and my another side job was women empowerment. This is very important. Women are doing well now in science. You go to any institute, I see it in the selection committees. I see women are doing very well in science, and this is most welcome. And we must encourage, empower women to do well in science. You might There is a book in India. It was
Mhm.
written by Professor Ram Ramaswamy, the former vice chancellor of Hyderabad Central University.
Mhm.
That is called as. Lilavati's I don't remember Lilavati's children, something like children like that. They wrote the life history of certain women scientists and in India. So this has to be encouraged. Empowerment of women in science, in the global science, is very important. Empowerment of women in different programs is very important. That is the primary thing, which probably, if that can be done, it will be very easy to achieve the sustainable goals again.
Absolutely. Nice. Absolutely, sir. The sustainability comes from there, the way they work,
Yes, yes,
and it
yes.
has been like acknowledged everywhere. But now STEM
Yes.
probably needs a little bit more acknowledgement of that. We
Or yes,
our
yes.
next question, sir, about the so we have talked about one thing which is missing still here is about the real life challenges of researchers, the frustration they go through, the burnout they go through, and now we are talking like in current time we have also started talking about mental health of researchers. So your
Yes. You have already raised questions which I have already written in that books. Anyway, see, let me address your last question, mental health. Entire world is weak in managing mental health. Entire world. Because the counseling people we are having in the world, we need 100 times more than that. That is the reason wherever I go, do you know that in Central Tamil Nadu, the first thing I did, I started two new departments. One is Department of Epidemiology and Public Health. Another department is Clinical Psychology. And anybody who passed out from those departments, they immediately get a job when they're in the third semester or fourth semester. So we are so weak in mental health, it needs to be strengthened. And now my job is whenever I'm going to a new university or any university, I am just educating them. I'm just advocating with them to start a department of clinical psychology or applied psychology so that we'll have more counseling things. Now coming to scientists' frustration, it is really a very pathetic and burning issue. I will give the example in India. We know I have there is chapter in my autobiography on vanishing scientist. We all know about Satish Dhawan, how he died. We know how the top scientists died. How we know how many scientists committed suicide. I will not go into the details into it because it's a very big list. I am concerned because the Institute of Life Sciences. I was the founding director here. During 10-year period, three scientists had natural deaths. Here, three scientists had natural deaths. I know and I know each of them. Now, these three scientists, they do not have anything against the system. No frustration, nothing. Nor the system had anything against them. They were the system and these three individual scientists, they gel well. There is no problem at all. But they individually they had individual problems. So my recommendation in my book is that every research institute and also universities should have, depending upon the size, should have one or two or three counseling cells where these people, scientists, those having some mental pressure, something can go discuss and unburden themselves. Here I'll tell you one thing. When I was the vice chancellor of the Central University of Tamil Nadu, I will send you the that 10-year document to you. You will see that was published. It was gone to everybody in India. In 2019, when I saw we had some integrated courses where the small children they go and study, and we had students from 28 states in Tamil Nadu. So how to handle their psychology, how to handle their mental issues, and it is a remote area. I started a happiness center in Central Institute Tamil Nadu. I made one in charge. So that happiness center, everybody will come. There will be motivational speakers will be invited. They are doing like that. I will. This is a very. That is a, itself is a story. So it's a this has to be there. So every I have written there in my that every institute, research institute or universities or any they should have counseling centers, one, two, or three or four, depending on their size, and if it will be there, this frustration will be. I don't say that it will be eradicated. It will be definitely reduced to the maximum level.
Absolutely. And I think keeping that, as you mentioned, that keeping anything or like negative feelings, frustration below the threshold, I think we can support
Yes,
our system and our staff so that they can still work great because everything is below the threshold. Because after the threshold is when
yes,
the real problem comes. And we always talk in these conversations that everyone has to understand either you can be a researcher, you cannot be a researcher, but even if you are a researcher, the first thing is you are a human being. You have your limitations,
yes,
you have your emotional breakdowns, you might have burnouts because of just doing so much of it, because at times stress is inevitable when you are submitting a manuscript or revision or a grant per se. That time it is there and it is like everyone can use it for their positive, but when it is there, as you mentioned,
mm,
for a longer time, that is what is not good for a person, a institute, a community, everywhere. So, like, we
yes,
need
yes,
more of visionaries like you who can come up with the ideas that how to support these people so that they can give the best of them. With this, sir, we will
yes.
go to the last phase of our conversation about the word of wisdom, what we call that as. So, the word of
Yeah.
wisdom from you to the researchers all around the globe.
Yeah, this is I have already said during the course my conversation to make it in nutshell. Always have faith in time. I'll tell you. If you have time, I'll give an example.
Yes, please.
See, I being in India, I follow Ramayana and Mahabharata.
Hmm.
You know, it. I don't know whether the audience will be interested to listen this or not. But when if they are not acquainted with the Ramayana or Mahabharata, I don't think I should say about give this example. Okay, so what is there? It is not wise to brood over the past. Past has gone; it will never come back.
Yeah.
Look ahead and march ahead. This is what Karna in Mahabharata asked Lord Krishna that why did I have to suffer like this? I was born in a to a queen. Then I was left in the river. I was grown by a low caste person. I was not allowed to take part in Swayamvar with Draupadi. And then I was harassed like this, all these things. Then Krishna told him, look, I was born in a jail. As soon as I was born, I was taken away to another parents. I could not get education till I was 14 or 16. Then I studied, but I never brooded over the past. I always thought how I'll march ahead, how I'll do something good for the society. But you only have to you are brooding over this, and this is your situation. So this is never brood over anything. March ahead, and remember, it is very easy to realize success. In the Indian system, we say to realize God. I say to realize success through hard work and performing your duty perfectly. Rather than doing, for example, I gave an example. When I speak in India, I give the example of Ramayana. When Lord Ram was crossing the river with Lakshman, the boatman was in the middle of the river. He was not taking this. And he was going to board it. He said, I will not allow you to put your feet on my boat. Because recently I have heard that you are coming and the dust from your feet fell on a stone and the stone became a beautiful woman. So if you come up to my boat and the dust will come and the boat will become a beautiful woman, what will I do? This is my only source of income, which I feed my family. So I have to clean your feet, wipe it, then I will allow you to see. He did that. It gives a different type of example in Indian system. So the to realize God through per- performing your duty perfectly with honesty and integrity, it is very easy to meet God or touch God or whatever, which you will not get. in thousands of years of her tapasya or dedication. Okay, so this example. So I don't say God. What I say in this forum, to get success, you have to work with sincerity. You have to perform your duties perfectly, and it definitely success will run after you rather than you running after the success.
Thank you so much, sir, for these real word of wisdom, and that I can assure that is not limited to only India, but anyone around any part of the world can actually correlate with this and will agree to this. With this, we'll say thank you, sir, for taking time out, and for all the audience that if you want to write to Professor Dash, you can write it to him. If you want Empowering Science Foundation to put you in touch with our researcher celebrities, we are there to support you. The only thing which we say is like, do whatever makes you happy. And if research happens to be that one thing, we are here to support you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.